Last week, Governor Brad Little issued a proclamation calling the Idaho legislature for a special session to address topics including the November election. And that special session is kicking off in just a few hours. Idaho News 6 reporter Madeline White spoke with local election officials about what they're hoping to see accomplished this week.
On the legislative side, we're looking for some flexibility.
Flexibility on the timetable clerks like Phil have to mail out and count your ballots, since this will be an election unlike any other.
Usually about 10% of Idahoans vote via absentee, and we're expecting that it could be as much as 75% of Idahoans vote via absentee this time.
He says they need this extra time because it's either they do it in advance of Election Day, or he worries they won't have results until well after the election.
We're asking for up to a week in advance of Election Day to start opening and scanning the ballots.
And Phil says he's looking for some added accommodations for in-person voters on Election Day.
Specifically the addition of vote centers. And what that would mean, it would be much like you experienced voting on Election Day now, except for instead of having to go to your local precinct near your home, you could go to any of the voting locations throughout the county and vote there. So say you're close to work and that's more convenient, you could actually vote there.
He says these voting centers would also be an effort to keep in-person voters safe.
Because we would use many of the larger locations in the community to keep people socially distanced and everything else.
In addition, he says he's working with various cities throughout Ada County to place and add more absentee drop boxes.
Because of the increased use of absentee ballots, and especially those voters who have concern about getting their ballot back to us, we're adding a number of drop boxes.
He says other county clerks are looking at doing this as well.
As I previously reported, officials say due to the virus, they're worried about finding enough poll workers, since on typical years, they're primarily people over the age of 60 who are in the high-risk category for the virus.
We would love to have folks reach out to their county clerks if they would be willing to help out on Election Day as a poll worker.
Chad says he's still hoping they'll get enough citizens to want to work the polls on that Tuesday, but if not, they're looking at other ways to potentially engage younger citizens who are less at risk, even those with day jobs that might typically prevent them from doing it.
We've had some conversations with the private sector, with business organizations as well. We've looked at, the Bar Association as a potential that we've had some conversations with. So there's a lot of conversations going on. Everybody's trying to be creative to figure out how to fill this gap.
Phil says ahead of the legislative session, he remains optimistic.
We'll be working hard to make sure the process does go smoothly for our voters.
Now, Governor Little says another topic that'll be discussed this week is a liability shield law that would protect government, schools, and private businesses from frivolous lawsuits by those who contract COVID-19. We'll be inside the State House covering the session this week, so stay tuned for more.